Welcome back to the Friday Night 360 AZ preview show alongside Haley Stasiak. I'm Jordan Ham. We are now joined by Centennial head coach Richard Taylor. The Coyotes won 60-7 in the 5A state title to win their second straight championship over Notre Dame Prep. And Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Hello.
Coach, it's another year, another title. I know throughout this entire process, you guys were undefeated, but you preached that if you guys didn't show up, you could be beat at any time. How did this group stay hungry and humble as they completed a dominant playoff run?
Well, I give our seniors and especially our captains a lot of credit for that. You know, back in August, we set as our goal to win the state championship. And they constantly kept that in front of the team, and they did a great job as leaders.
What was the most impressive thing about this 28 team? Was it one of the best teams you have coached?
Well, statistically, defensively, this is the fewest number of points that we've ever given up. So I think you might be able to argue there. But there's two other undefeated Coyote teams from past years that may argue that they were the
best. Jonathan Morris over at quarterback, he's a guy that may not be talked about a lot, but he was so efficient this year. Just how did you see him develop throughout the year in his first year of starting?
You know, I just thought John did a magnificent job. He passed for over 2,000 yards. He was the leader of the team offensive group. Everybody listened to him. We ran a lot of stuff on offense, you know, and it's his job to make sure that everybody gets in the right place at the right time so that we can be efficient. And he did an outstanding job. And I think there's a lot of colleges now that are beginning to take notice of him.
You mentioned this defense already. Only 85 points allowed this year on Saturday against Notre Dame Prep. Eric Haney had quite a game, 3 interceptions there, and you had obviously that whole defense just making plays all over the field. What was it about the defense that made you guys so successful?
Well, I think it goes back to preparation. Andrew Taylor, our defensive coordinator, and our defensive staff watched every single play that they ran for the last 2 years. Wow. I watched about an hour of it, and I told them I think I got the idea. And they continued to watch all of it because they said they didn't want them to run anything that we weren't prepared for that would put the guys in a bad position.
It seems like no matter how many seniors you have on a team in a given year, there's always a couple of young guys who are always big-time contributors for this Coyote program. Going through a deep playoff run, just what does that do for these young players as they continue their high school careers with you and this program?
Well, you know, we had 4 more weeks of practice, which I think helps them get better. And we brought up some JV players that now have a chance to go against varsity players and have a chance to compete against them in practice every day, which I think helps them prepare for next year.
You have accomplished quite a lot in your time here at Centennial, the only head coach that this program has seen. Now you've won back-to-back state titles, and you've won many state titles before that as well. Is there anything else to accomplish here with the Coyotes?
You know, I don't look at it that way. I think I've won enough football games. The reason that I still do it is because, number one, I still do enjoy the competition. But I just think football is so important today, maybe more important than ever in our society in teaching young boys how to become men. Mm-hmm. And I love the game. I love what it teaches. And that is what keeps me hanging around, I guess.
It's the off season. The holidays are here. I know you're probably taking the time to rest, decompress, enjoy this 2018 state championship. But at what point do you start preparing for 2019?
Well, we have one more game. We're playing in the Geico Bowl on December 22nd.
That's right.
Against a team, a state champion from Washington. So we haven't stopped. You know, we kind of gave the boys this week off. Next week we will begin practicing in preparation for that game. which, by the way, will be at Centennial High School.
Awesome. Have you seen any tape of this Washington team? Have you started looking at that yet?
Unfortunately, yes.
So there really hasn't been quite an off season for you.
No. It's an honor to be chosen for that game, and it will be exciting. But at the same time, it just means 3 more weeks of preparation and trying to figure out a way to beat an opponent that's just outstanding. And after then, I guess it'll be Christmas time.
The holidays definitely did come up fast. Coach, we appreciate the time. It's always good chatting with you. Best of luck in that Geico Bowl.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That was Centennial head coach Richard Taylor joining us. Just a storied program that he's built there with Centennial. And as I mentioned, he is the only head coach in that program's history. Always fun talking to him. And it seems when you talk to his players, they pick up off of everything from him. I mean, nothing but great things to say about him as a head coach.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. There are no surprises. Everyone knows what the Centennial program is all about, not just on the field, but off the field. And that's one of the things that he talked about when you asked him about kind of what continues to drive you, and it's developing young men. And he sent a lot of guys to college. You can see the jerseys up in their weight room where they have, maybe mismatching weights. It may not be a state-of-the-art gym or anything like that, but they continue to get the job done each and every year, and that's just what's so impressive about this program. You
were out and saw some of this 5A state game. I was able to catch some of it on the replay on Fox Sports Arizona. What impressed you most about this game? I mean, it was a dominant win by the Coyotes, 60-7.
Yeah, and it's just kind of par for the course for them this year, just being so suffocating, where they're going to, on defense, they're going to suffocate you. They're going to limit your best players on offense. And then offensively, they're just going to beat you up until you're tired. And then in the second half, they're really going to take over. But by the time they got to the second half, they were already pretty comfortably in a pretty good lead. So I think just start to finish, that game was a good microcosm of their season. It's just, they got the job done. It was what they wanted to do the entire time. And if they got pushback, they would adjust and continue to dominate.
With looking at, let's go ahead and take a small glimpse into 2019 and maybe a little bit of this Geico Bowl as well. What is the benefit do you see of this team playing in a Geico Bowl like this against this state championship team from Washington? I mean, we don't see a lot of teams from Washington come in and playing. It's more California, some Nevada.
Florida has have come out. I think, like what he said, with these young guys getting those deep playoff runs and getting 4 weeks of practice, you then get 3 more.
Right.
So, and there is, I'm sure with these teams, there is a bit of a burnout factor, but let's look at it.
The Coyotes didn't show that burnout factor on Saturday.
Let's look at it, though. Chandler's been in a couple of these. Saworo's been in one of these. Doesn't seem like there's a burnout. These coaching staffs are smart at knowing when to push these guys and when to, take a step back and, hey, go decompress, go do your thing, go do what you need to do. So I'm confident that Centennial will continue to do that. But again, it's just getting those young guys against a really, really good team from Washington. All of that experience. Coming up next, Jordan and I are going to take a little bit more of a look here at this 4A and 6A division and these state title games. Keep it right here on the Friday Night 360 AZ Preview Show.